So hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the full code of molecular dynamics, how to write the full code. So the code is a little bit large one, so that's why I have already written the code for you, and also I will describe each and every point and each and every line for you. And there are some part of the code that I have already described, which is basically the position initialization, and there are different type of position initialization. In 2D we can have that square lattice initialization, triangular lattice initialization, and also in 3D we have the simple cubic lattice type of initialization. So that I have already uploaded that lectures, and if you haven't watched that lectures, please go through them, because that will be needing here. So for initialize the particles position in molecular dynamics. And also I have uploaded a separate lecture on this particle on this how to generate a particular lattice configuration, general lattice configuration. So after seeing that lecture, I think that will be clear to you that how to generate any type of lattice configuration via code. So then after uploading the lecture, I have uploaded two videos on how to generate a square lattice and how to generate a simple cubic lattice. So you can always go through them, and that is a good practice for you, and also you can try many other lattice configuration like that. So let's go to the code. So the code had several parts, so I have written several parts for the code, so that's why it will be easily understandable. So so I have written a module. So what is a module? So module in Fortran is basically a part of code which is a separate program. You can write this in a separate file, mod file, but I have written it here itself. So this module file contains can contain several subroutines and other functions, and also some parameters values. So and also some variables. So these variables will be needing throughout the codes. So that's why rather than defining it many times, so I just write this in this module, and whenever I need any of these variable, so I just use this module. Let's say I'll call use para. That means it will use this module, and any variable inside it will be available to that subroutine. So here these variables I am using, and these variables and parameter I am using in this module. So whenever I will call this module para, so it will be, then this variable will be accessible. So first is the in part. In part is basically the number of particles in my system, and temp is basically the temperature, desired temperature. So here I am doing the NBE simulation. So what is the meaning of NBE simulation? So NBE simulation is basically means that your energy is constant, number of particles is constant, and volume is fixed. So that means the NBE simulation. So here I am not using any type of thermostat or something. So later I will discuss how to modify this code, and how to use a thermostat to do the NVT simulation. So right now I will be doing the NVE simulation. So that means you will be seeing that energy of your system will be constant, but kinetic energy and potential energy will vary. So the rho is basically the density of the particles, which I have taken to be 0.8442 something like that, and then so sigma I have taken to be 1.0 d0, and epsilon, which is basically for the Lennard-Jones potential, I have taken to be 4.0 d0, and RC is the cutoff for that potential that I have already described in my molecular dynamics theory lecture. So which is basically I have taken 2.5 into sigma, and sigma is basically 1, so that's why it is basically 2.5 d0. And d0 is basically for double precision, and then TF is my final total time, how much time I will simulate. So basically I have taken to be 10.0, and my dt is in the time step is basically 0.001 d0. And Lx is basically the n part by rho to the power 1/3, because of that because as you know that number density per rho is the number density, and if you divide number n part by rho, it will get the, and if you take the square root of 3, and then you will be getting Lx, and as we are using a cubical box, so Lx will be same as Ly and Lz. And sigma 6 I have defined as sigma to the power 6, and sigma 12 I have defined as sigma to the power 12, and sigma 2 I have defined as sigma square. And now Fc is the force cutoff of force, which is basically that force value of the force at R is equal to Rc. So as you can see that in the expression of force, I have just substituted that Rc instead of R, and UFC is the potential cutoff at r is equal to rc, which is fcrc plus epsilon into this potential at r is equal to rc, which is basically sigma by rc to the power 12 and sigma by rc to the power 6 minus. And Lx by 2 I have defined as Lx by 2.0, and Ly by 2 is Ly by 2.0, and Lz by 2 is basically Lz by 2.0 d0. And now these are some variables which I will be needing everywhere, so that's why I defined it here in the module, so that I don't need to define it every time whenever I am using it. So that's why I am defining this three components of velocity, 3 component of position, and this xp, yp, zp will be the previous position that I will be needing while I am using Verlet algorithm. So here I will be using Verlet algorithm. So if you don't know about Verlet algorithm, then just go through my lectures on molecular dynamics theory part. So there I have described briefly, explain very carefully, so that you can understand briefly that what is the Verlet algorithm, and what is the reason behind that using that Verlet algorithm. And also this x nu, y nu, z nu are basically the positions, new position, and xx these variables I will be needing as a temporary variable, and ds, dy, dz I will be needing here, and this is the average. These variables I will be needing for saving the average quantities of vx, vy, vz, and these are some other variables. So now next comes the main program. So before stating the main program, I will just like to describe the subroutines first. So this is the subroutine velocity initialization. So in a subroutine velocity initialization, as you see that I am using this module para. So I just use this module by use para, and then I have defined this average values of velocities in x direction, velocity in y direction, and z direction to be 0, and sum b2 is the square of the velocity, and k is the kinetic energy. So all of the variables I have defined to be 0, and then I am taking this vx, vy, vz, the initial position, initial velocities, randomly. I am choosing choosing a uniform random number generator, and which is RANDM, and this is a value in between 0 and 1. So I am just subtracting it minus 0.5 from this RNDM, so that the numbers velocity generated will be in between minus 0.5 to plus 0.5. So this similarly for y direction and z direction. So this is how I initialize the velocities randomly. And then to calculate the average velocity using this initial velocities, I just add this Vx, Vy, and Vz with this average Vx and average Vy and average Vz, so that I can sum over all the Vx, Vy, Vz, and then if I just divide it with n part, which is the number of particle, we will get the average velocity along the x direction, average velocity along the y direction, and average velocity along the z direction. So I have used dplot here. So dplot is basically to make this n part to be a real star 8 quantity, because n part, as I defined here, that n part is an integer quantity, which is the number of particle. So we have to make it real, because otherwise that will be integer division will give me some overflow, give me some error in rounding off. So that's why I have to use this, I have to make it real before dividing. So similarly I have defined this average Vx, Vy, and Vz. I have calculated that, and then I just print the average values of Vx and Vy and Vz. Now I will be needing one thing. So I have to subtract the I have to be in the center of mass frame, so that I have to subtract these values from the velocities of these velocities. From this velocity I have to subtract these average values, so that the center of mass velocity becomes 0. And so now if you see when I will run the program, that this velocity average Vx, Vy, Vz will be of the order of 10 to the power minus 1, 2, 3, something like that. But we have to make that to be we have to make the center that to be almost equal to 0, because we have to make that to be in center of mass frame. So now we define this Vx to be average Vx minus Vxi, Vy to be average Vx minus Vyi, and Vz to be average Vz minus Vzi, because we want the center of mass velocity to be 0. So now again I have calculated the velocities of these average velocity of these corrected subtracted coordinates, so that I can see that the difference between this coordinate before center of mass correction and after center of mass correction, you can see these values, and you can see this after center of mass correction, these values will be of the order of 0, which is not like the case when this is after before center of mass correction. So I have just calculated these corrected coordinates, and then I have calculated the velocities of these corrected coordinates, average velocities, and here I have divided it, so that Vx bar is basically the new average velocity before after correction, and similarly Vy bar, and similarly Vz bar, and sum b2 is basically the variable to collect the v square, Vx square plus Vy square and Vz square, which I will be using to calculate the kinetic energy. So now we have to scale the velocity, so that initially we will be in a temperature which is I have defined that temp to be 0.728. so initially we have to be in this temperature, so that we have to ensure that our velocities is in this temperature, so that I will be needing a scaling factor which is Fs, and which is basically d square or root over d square, which is basically double of squared, means double precision squared. So root over of 3 into t into n part minus 1 by sum b2. So that is basically that I have described earlier. So if you have watched already that video, so then it will be clear for you. So that is basically the from the equipartition of energy theorem. So 3 by 2 kVt is basically your half m VIA square, and from that I have just derived this relation. So Fs is the factor, so that our initial velocities are in that particular temperature, which is 0.728, and then I have just multiplied these velocities with this factor, so that they are in the same temperature, and then I calculate the kinetic energy, initial kinetic energy of the system, which is basically Ke is equal to Ke star 0.5, which is basically Ke is basically the mv square, and m is basically 1, so it's basically v square, and half mv square is basically the kinetic energy. Now next come to the subroutine, calculate forces. So the force calculation is very straightforward. So initially I have the Pe is the potential energy, and here also I am using the module para. So then I am using a variable Pe, which is potential energy. I have defined to be 0 at the very beginning of the subroutine, and then I have defined all the forces along each direction. Fx is the force along x direction, and Fy is the force along y direction, and Fz is the force along z direction. So I have defined all of them to be 0 initially, and then I am going from I is equal to 1 to n part minus 1, and I am defining x1 to be x of I, y1 to be y of I, and z1 to be z of I, and another variable inside the loop, which is basically j, which is going from I plus 1 to n part. So carefully notice this thing. So I is going from 1 to n part minus 1, and j is going from I plus 1 to n part. So why is this necessary? Because to avoid double counting, so we will be needing this. So there will be n into n minus 1 by 2 pairs, and we have to ensure that we are not double counting anymore. So that's why this thing is there. Or we can do another thing. So I going from 1 to n part and j going from 1 to n part, and inside that we have to put a if condition whenever if I not is equal to j. So which is basically taken care of by this looping condition, that I going from 1 to n part minus 1 and j going from I plus 1 to n part. And I define x2 to be x of j, y2 to be y of j, and z2 to be z of j, and then I define dx to be x1 minus x2, dy to be y1 minus y2, and dz to be z1 minus z2. So now next, so then I have to apply the periodic and minimum image condition, which I have described already in my lecture of theory. So you just go through that lecture, so and then it will be clear to you. So whenever this absolute dx is greater than lx by 2, then dx is basically lx minus absolute of dx, and this is the unit vector along this dx, so that will be having the minimum image condition. So similarly along y direction and similarly along z direction I have applied that, and I have defined dr to be root over of dx square plus dy square plus dz square, and whenever dr is less than equal to rc, we will be calculating the force, otherwise we will not, because we have defined the cutoff already, which is 2.5 sigma. So rc is 2.5 sigma. Whenever dr is less than this value, we will be calculating the lj is the potential, so which is basically that 4 epsilon contains 4, so 4 epsilon into sigma by dr whole to the power 12 and sigma by minus sigma by dr whole to the power 6 minus this is the correction factor due to that cutoff, and then Lj potential energy is basically potential energy plus this Lj. So Lj is the potential, so I am adding potential, and Lj forces is the force, and I have derivative the potential, take the derivative of the potential, and then I will get the expression for the force, and which is minus Fc is the cutoff of the force at Fc is the value of the force at R is equal to Rc. And then I define fx of I is basically fx of I into plus Lj forces into dx by r. So this quantity into dx by dr, which is force along x direction, force along y direction for the ith particle, force along z direction of the ith particle, and similarly the j for the jth particle. And then I just close the loop. Now next comes to the subroutine integrate. So integration I have chosen the Verlet integration, Verlet algorithm. So Verlet algorithm is a very easy algorithm to implement, and it is very useful algorithm. And in Verlet algorithm, the order of the velocity correction is order of h square, and but position correction is of the order of h to the power 4. So that is very good thing in Verlet algorithm. So what we are trying to do is basically you have defined dt to be a variable, which is basically the step square, and similarly I have defined average vx, vy, vz to be 0 here also. Now, so for I going to 1 to n part, so for all the particle, so I am calculating the position at t is equal to t plus delta t plus dt, and using this t is equal to t minus dt and t is equal to t. So this is the basically the formulation of Verlet algorithm, which I have taken from the from my earlier lecture, so which I have uploaded already. So so that is basically 2.0 into xi, which is the original position, and xp is the previous position at t minus delta t, and fxi into dt square. So then similarly y new is basically 2.0 into d0 into yi, which is the current position. Yp is the previous position, and then this force at current position. And similarly velocity is basically given by x nu, which is the x at t plus delta t minus x at t minus delta t by 2.0 dt. So similarly the y and z direction velocity, so you can calculate. Now you can just calculate the kinetic energy using this same formula, that kinetic energy is equal to kinetic energy plus half m v square. So v square is vx square plus vy square plus vz square, and mass is basically 1. So now is basically we have to calculate the velocity, calculate x at t plus delta t using the calculated velocity at t plus t. So x nu is basically for the next step. So this is for the first steps, and next step we will be needing these values x nu again. So we have to calculate that before substituting this x nu in the next step. So the x nu I have calculated using the velocity generated earlier at earlier step. So this is basically xp, which is the position at previous step, plus 2.0 into vxi star dt. From this relation it is clear, because x nu if you calculate, it is basically vxi into 2 dt plus xp, which is the same thing here. And similarly from this relation you can calculate the vyi from y nu of I from this expression, and similarly z nu of I from this expression. And then we have to update the old coordinates. So at t plus 2 dt, at t plus 2 dt, the previous coordinate is basically t plus dt. So we have to update the value, which is basically xp of I, previous I is basically updating to be xi, and yp of I updating to be yi, and zp of I is updating to zi. And we have to update also the current coordinates, which is basically at current position at t plus dt, which is basically this thing. So current coordinates basically xi is equal to x nu of I. So this is all of them are updated. Now some of the particles while doing this, some of the particles will be outside the box, but we have to then apply the PBC, periodic boundary condition, so that they remain inside the box. So that is very useful. That is where the most important job in this algorithm, because otherwise PVC there will be no point of calculating these energies. So if xi greater than lx, so lx is the box size along x direction. So if xi crosses lx, then xi is basically xi minus lx. Similarly xp, which is the previous position, if it crosses lx, then also xpi is equal to xpi minus of lx. And if it is less than 0, we will be adding lx, and similarly along y direction also, and similarly along z direction also. So as we can see, we have to apply the PVC both in the current position and the previous position. So that is very necessary, and this is the main subroutine integrate. So now we have to add these 3 subroutine inside our code, so that I can have a molecular dynamics simulation. So let's look at that. So this is the main program. So I am opening here, I am using use para, which is the parameter file, module file, which I have already described. And so I am using I am opening two files. So cubic.xyz, which I have already described in my earlier lecture. So as you can see that there are lectures of how to generate simple cubic lattice and how to generate a 2D square lattice. So I will be using the simple cubic lattice case, and I am using that file from there, and the action is basically read. So it will read the file, and the data.dat is basically a file to save the energies and time step. So what is my main job here? So I will be simulating this Monte Carlo molecular dynamics simulation, and I will be saving the time step and at kinetic energy and potential energy and total energy at each time step. And what you will see is basically the total energy will be conserved because it is a NVE simulation, and I am not using any thermostat here. So that's why it is a NVE simulation, and total energy will be constant, but your kinetic energy and potential energy will fluctuate around a value. So that's the main result of our code. So that we should see, but let's see what will happen. And now I am reading the position of xi, y and zi from this file, which I have generated already. So I have shown to you in my earlier lecture how to generate this cubic.xyz. If you haven't gone through that, please go through that lecture, and you will be understanding this part which I am using here. So now I just using for the user that particle position initialized, and then I am calling the velocity initialization subroutine. So after position, this is the position initialization, and then I have to initialize the velocity, and then I have to calculate the force with this initial condition. And then I just print several things, that particle velocity is initialized, the initial temperature after velocity correction I can calculate. So I have the kinetic energy from this velocity initialization subroutine, and from applying this kinetic energy is equal to equipartition. From equipartition theorem, it is basically 3/2 kBt, and applying this formula I can just calculate the kinetic energy, initial temperature. So you will see that will be basically equal to this 0.728, and from this correction also. So that's why from that we will be sure that our velocities are at initial velocities are at temperature which we have supplied, which is 0.728 initially. So after that it will fluctuate around some value. So the initial potential energy also I have calculated, and initial kinetic energy also I have calculated. Now to calculate the position, so at the very first step, when t is equal to 0, so we will be needing the position at t minus dt, which is basically at t is equal to minus dt, which we are calculating using some Euler method. So Euler method is simply because Euler method is a simple process, so which is basically x at t plus dt is basically x at t plus vx into dt. So just dt is basically minus dt here, so we are applying minus dt, and there is a minus here, that's why. So for the first step only, at t is equal to 0, we will be needing the position at t is equal to t minus dt, which is basically t is equal to minus dt. So for that position only we are using Euler here, nothing else. So using Euler we can calculate xp, yp and zp for all other for the first step. This xp, yp, zp will be needing using Euler method. I am calculating this xp, yp, zp for the first step, and for other step, as we know that we have already calculated here that xp is basically this. I am updating xp every time at each step, but for the first step only we will be needing this. So that's why this first step using Euler method. And now I am starting this simulation from t is equal to 0. And so t is equal to 0 here, and then do while t less than equal to tf. Tf is 10.0, I have already defined, and then I am calling the calculate forces and also call integrate. So we have to call the forces and call the integrate, and I am saving the data for time step, kinetic energy per particle, potential energy per particle, and total energy, which is kinetic plus potential per particle. And I am just increasing t by dt, and then I am just ending this do loop. And then this call system is basically to plot that GNU plot in this file data.dat. So it will be immediately the program ends, it will show you that the plots. So for the time being, let's learn the program, and then let's see what happens after that. So data.dat will be generated. So then I will show you how to plot that thing. So you don't need to worry about this command. So this command is basically a simple command to plot. Immediately the program ends and this will plot automatically. So but we don't need to learn this thing, but for the time being let's ignore it. So as you know, after the program completes here, the data.dat will be generated and I will be showing how to plot that in GNU plot. So let's run the code and then see what happens. So G fortran and -O3 to fast the program, which is the compilation task, and then this md varlet.f90 and then /error out. As we can see, this initial average velocity along x direction. So this completes, and then as you can see, this the total energy is almost straight line. So that as you can see, there is no fluctuation in total energy. This is the black curve, and the red curve is the kinetic energy. There is fluctuation. So the kinetic energy around this value 1.5 or something. So this is fluctuating around that value, and also potential energy is fluctuating around the value. But the total energy is always constant, as you can see. So this is a NVE simulation. So now it is clear that how why it is a NVE simulation. And now, so as you can see here that some things that important things. So 216 particles are initialized, okay, and their average velocity before center of mass correction, if you see the average velocities, they can not be negligible because they are of the order of 10 to the power -3 or -2. But whenever you do the center of mass correction, the velocity is of the order of 10 to the power -17, 10 to the power -18, which can be negligible. So we have to make sure that your average velocities after center of mass correction to be almost of the order of 0. So we have to make the average velocities to be 0. So that's why the center of mass correction and the correction is needed. And as you can see, the initial temperature is 0.728 from the initial kinetic energies, which are calculated from the initial velocities. So you have to make sure about the scaling factor, so that this your initial kinetic energy will be in such that it will give the temperature same as the temperature we have supplied. So initial temperature should be the same temperature we have supplied, and then if the initial potential energy is -4.14 and initial kinetic energy is 1.08 and something, and then indicating the data and collecting instantaneous data. And then let's say if you open the data.dat file, so as you can see, this is the indicator step, and this is kinetic energy, potential energy, and then total energy. Now if you open GNU plot and then let's say plot, let's first set size square and then plot data.dat using 1:2 with L line with 2, which is basically the let's title it as kinetic energy. So if you see that there is a fluctuation in kinetic energy and it is positive, and always it has to be positive because it is a positive quantity kinetic energy, so it is fluctuating around a value. Now let's plot in the same plot, let's plot this potential energy curve using 1:3 with L line with 2 and then title potential energy. Now if you can see, the potential energy also is fluctuating around some value around this 4 point something, 4.4 or something. So it is fluctuating around this value. This is 4.41 and it is fluctuating around this 1.37 something value. So now if you plot then this main thing, which is the total energy, then you will be seeing that this is a straight line, so which prove that this is a NVE simulation. So when you so as we can see, this is strictly straight line, so that's why the total energy is always constant in this type of simulation. So as we are not using any thermostat, so that's why it is total energy is constant. But whenever you will be using thermostat like Berensten thermostat, Anderson thermostat, Nusse-Huber thermostat, lots of thermostat are there. So if you apply any one of them, then you can see that total energy will fluctuate, but your temperature will be fixed. So that is the main point of using thermostat. So here we are doing only NVE simulation, so that's why we will not need this value of this temperature correction, because we will be needing it only when we are doing NVE simulation. So this is the NVE simulation, and in NVE simulation the total energy is conserved. So this is all for today. So this is the lecture on full lecture and full code of molecular dynamics using the Verlet algorithm, and there are lots of properties you can calculate in this molecular dynamics code, which are basically the pair correlation function. You can also calculate the structure factor of the final configuration, and also you can calculate the average quantities like average pressure, average also the several things you can calculate. So that I will upload in my later lecture. So this is the simplest possible way to describe a molecular dynamics code using Verlet algorithm. And so thank you for watching this video. So if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel to motivate me to make more videos for you, and I hope you will be learning more from my videos. Thank you.